How you doing this morning?
Brother, my mic's still muted.
Mark, how you doing this morning?
I am good this morning. I'm happy to be here, happy to be alive, and happy to have another show, hopefully, Lord willing, without any more technical issues.
Technical issues. Mark will be leaving us in just a second to check on one last technical issue.
Yes.
Plus, we got our first ding yesterday, our first censor yesterday.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how the Phee Bird and Manly Mark would actually get censored. But when you're in this genre, it seems to happen.
Yeah, well, and when he first said that, like, I can't remember what I was doing, but I was at home, and I was like, there's no way. There's no way, because just for half a second, I got worried, like, oh, did I say something illegal, or did I say something really off kilter? And I'm like, no, we didn't talk about anything bad. And then I did a listen through, and, well, it was either, whether it was the misinformation about vaccines, the misinformation about weather manipulation, or misinformation about Democrats, or misinformation about Planned Parenthood, or misinformation about our perception of the cosmos and existence.
It doesn't matter what existence is. When
It was something.
terminally ill market and you're dealing with the FDA, and you're in the prophecy market and you're dealing with World War III and the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Well,
and
it was just
one world government.
It was just such a, I'd hear one thing and be like, oh, well, maybe it was that. And then we'd change topics. Well, maybe it was that. And then we'd change topics and I'm like, well, okay, now I understand. But again, we're still capable of going live.
Yes.
They haven't restricted that. No. So from the email you sent me, I wasn't able to figure out what they were actually restricting from us. Maybe some extra, like, some features that would matter if we had, if we were being monetized, probably, or some features that would matter if we already had a very large audience, and maybe the thread is, hey, we're restricting your reach. Well, if we already had a reach, we'd be like, oh no. But does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I'm not sure though.
Well, the algorithm's the key. How
Sure.
many people are going to see us?
Well, but
once we send our podcast in, they're going to review it. Will they then edit it themselves?
Well, I don't think they edited themselves.
Well, I know that some shows in this genre, they actually don't get the full interviews done.
Oh, well, I
They
think
don't get the,
it's typically, they'll just tell you, hey, take these parts out. Or they'll get flagged, the videos will get flagged, and I could be wrong. And then they'll say, hey, we have a problem with this. Take down the whole thing and your channel will be fine, or take these parts out of the video itself.
Kind of like we didn't have the music rights in Russia, so we're not in Russia.
Right, but
ads.
Right, but what's interesting is they didn't tell us to take the video down. They didn't tell us to take out certain parts. That's what's weird. I hate that you have to be beholden. Now I know it's America, it's a private company, but you have to be beholden to these rules of these overlords that are so subjective, can change at will. And you don't really even understand or know what they mean. So it's like, you have all these rules you have to ambiguously follow, and then if it looks like you kind of step out of line and it's convenient for them to get rid of you, I'll strike on your channel. It's all politicized.
Absolutely. It's they're looking for opportunities to flag us.
Well,
We are against their agenda, and obviously people that own that, and it's much better now with the Trump organization
Sure.
than it was with the Biden organization.
well, but what's even crazier is they use AI to do the copyright checks, the content checks, and so it's like, there's no way someone reported our video that'd been up for 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever. And I just really, I have a hard time believing there's not 6,000 other people saying way more extreme things with a lot bigger audiences than what we said. But I don't know. It just seems,
keywords with those bots get you.
yeah, I'm bad about using.
There's key phrases,
Keywords.
keywords. So anyway, we want you to subscribe. We want you to share.
Yes.
We want you to hit likes or love.
We might already have our first enemy though. What if someone's already reporting us?
I think we had our first enemies long before we opened.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, you mean those folks that was in your yard at 2 a.m. that Jerry told us about? I hope Jerry's listening. Jerry, if you're listening, drop a line on the chat. It just for some reason, it just makes us feel good to hear from people who are listening.
Absolutely.
Because I'll stop the conversation mid flow every time, be like, Jerry,
Jerry's here.
Or
Jessica. Or G, or Keyboard Man.
yeah, well, I haven't heard from Keyboard Man in a while.
Well, he's out there. I guarantee you he's
Well, I think he'd be a lot more happy with our current shows and the quality, and even the conversations are getting better.
Absolutely.
I haven't flipped out or
No?
I haven't been tweaking in a while. So, well, when I get on my soapbox, sometimes I just get to tweaking, man.
I had my best show last night. It was phenomenal, and of course we didn't have any sound because of my pure stupidity. But so we have to do that over. But it was phenomenal, and I was talking so in depth about Mark, and
What?
and it was just letting people know we're not going away. We need to get you to go to feesmee.com. In the end, all of these folks that are out podcasting, making a difference, are getting censored. That's why people, if they go to their website, then they get the full content.
And so you're telling me you gave like a full psychological breakdown to me last night?
Absolutely.
Like for real?
I just told people that, look, this is what we're called to do. We're going to do it. And if we're controversial, that your heart's in the right place, that you're educated and intellectual on these subjects that most people aren't.
Well, I've been
And we're gonna
controversial my
continue
whole life.
just to rock and roll with it.
Rock and rolling, nickel and diamond, two lime and timing.
That's right. We were talking last night about, about the angels and what an important role they play in not only in the past but also in the future with the Battle of Armageddon.
Oh, sure. And you think the angels are going to fly around the earth and say the gospel,
The
and
everlasting gospel.
and people who don't believe and who have free will look up at those angels and say, you know what? I see these angels floating above my head doing this thing I've never seen, telling me this gospel that I have in this book that Grandma used to tell me. Yeah, I'm still going to decide not to believe it. I don't know. Well, man, when do you think about things like that? You're just like, well, I would believe it if angels were flying around.
Most people you would think would, but
Unless
the
there's
Bible says 1,000 years rule.
Well, yeah,
That
Jesus.
people aren't going to. How can you go 1,000 years?
You got me there. Because it's like, hey, so who's this king? Jesus. He's been the king for the last 495 years. Really? Yeah, he's like actually the God of the universe, apparently. Oh, and so what we got to do? The only thing he requires is you bring tribute to him once a year, so it'll rain on your crops or whatever it says. Oh, that's not too bad. Yeah. F that guy. I don't like that guy. Screw that guy. I don't want that king.
I'm waiting for that dude to come out of the hell and come back to earth again where I can serve him.
Well, but I will say, and not that I'm a pederast, but it is interesting the people who believe that all that's already happened.
Yes,
in
the
70 AD.
preterism is still being taught today.
Well, I think it's heresy, sure. Now, I think there are some aspects of it that are true.
Which?
Well, I mean, just like a lot of what it described did happen in 70 AD. Now, was that the final fulfillment of those words and prophecies? No, I don't think so. The full pederast would say, yeah. All right, there was already a guy who stormed the Jewish temple, Antiochus, outlawed the observance of the Torah, and erected a statue of Zeus in the temple. Well, he also rode a pig into the temple and slaughtered it on the altar of God, and then erected a statue of Zeus. So it's like the exact desolation of abomination that Daniel describes happened in Antiochus, and it's probably happened 2 or 3 other times. But so those people would say, well, see, that's already happened, idiot. And we would say, well, that history's fake. It's not happened yet. It's got to happen again. It's got to happen. It's like, well, I mean, you see pictures of these things all throughout history of, think about it like little circles. You got like a little circle, going another little circle, a little circles all the way down until you get to the giant circle, right? These are little d days of the Lord, little d events of the day of the Lord, looking forward to or giving a credence to a much larger fulfillment of those words or prophecies. That's in my opinion. And so everyone gets so hung up on it, preterism or post-trib or pre-trib, and it's like, man, it's all a lot more ambiguous than what we want to say. But it's foolish that we're all fighting about it. But that's the point, cause division, sow hate. I mean, you have people denominations who actually discontinue fellowship with each other because they have a different opinion on a future event that hasn't happened yet, with hints from a book that was written 2,000 years ago and can be interpreted correctly 16,000 ways. We can't be friends because you think the future is going to happen slightly different than me. Kind of foolish, man, in my opinion.
It is foolish, and it's not a salvation issue.
No, I mean,
you believe in pre-trib or preterism or a post-trib.
Yeah.
So there's people believe in mid-trib.
Yeah, well, my family, I don't know if my family believes in mid-trib.
So,
if they believe in mid-trib more than they believe in pre-trib, my family.
Yeah, but it's not a salvation issue. So
No.
It's a
But
deception
they want to act like it is because I've almost heard growing up, if you don't believe in it the way we do, then you have no part in it.
Well, there's a lot of denominations out there, and that is wrong, false.
Right, because if you don't believe in the rapture, then you're not going to get raptured. Well, is belief in the rapture?
Believe in Jesus Christ?
Well, yeah, is that the equivalent? Well, you don't believe he's coming? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. He's coming. That's a fact of life. But
sometimes there's just shifts. I mean, this preterism has the Euphrates River ever dried up? And when John gets the revelation in 90 A.D. On the island, and yet they say that it was already happened on 70 A.D., it's tough to give them any credence. But if you thought that all your life,
right? But I mean, my argument then would be, well, is there any evidence that would say that Revelation was written earlier? I mean, because I don't like to get into this kind of mud or weeds, but then you get people who argue, the Revelation of John was actually written 20 years before or 10 years after, or and it's like, yeah, I can see how that matters to some degree, but you're not going to really change a whole lot of my opinion if you say, I don't. Again, I can't remember what number year you said the gospel Revelation.
90 AD.
90 AD, right?
When John received the revelation.
If he received it in 60 AD and wrote it down in 61 AD, it doesn't really make a difference to me. If he got it in 92 AD, what I'm saying, and so
they say that the second.
Well, I know
was the third temple,
right? And it's 70 AD, yeah.
70 AD.
Yes. Now Jesus, I think when Jesus told them that was happening, that
was like 33 AD.
Well, yeah, and in the span of a generation, 40 years,
yeah.
Those in that generation who were alive then
saw that.
Absolutely. So and I guess you're probably, I can't remember if it's in Matthew when he's talking about that. His disciple, he's sitting on a hill somewhere, and his disciples come to him and say, "Hey, what are going to be the signs of the end?" And
Matthew 24.
Yeah, Matthew 24. We gave a whole podcast about it. But the whole idea is that people either want to look at that as a whole and say, all of that already happened, all of that's going to happen. But instead, I think it's more of in one line he might be talking about right now, and the next line he might be talking about far off distance, because it's very, very provable and verifiable that, Jesus said, I guess when he said he's going to tear down the temple in 3 days, rebuild it, he's talking about his body. They thought they meant the temple, but Jesus said that Jerusalem's being sacked, the temple's going to fall. It happened within the generation that he said it was going to happen. It happened. Those alive then lived to see it happen. He wasn't lying.
And there was second temple, and
right.
It's not going to be but 3, and it hadn't been built yet.
Oh, sure.
And it's going to be built on 35 acres of land that's a shared temple mount, where the angel tells John, says, measure the temple, but do not measure the outer courts. Mm-hmm. That will be trampled down by the Gentiles.
Interesting. Well, I don't know about that.
So that's in Revelations. Also, the way Revelation starts is this book is what was, what is, and what is to come.
Mm-hmm.
So he talks first to the churches, and then he tells them what's going on then, and then he tells them what's going to happen in the future. Mm-hmm. So Revelations ties in very closely to Daniel. And our next podcast is going to be in His Kingdom's Coming is going to be in Revelations 13.
Okay. That's right. That's right.
When the one world government, the four beasts in Daniel become one beast in
mm-hmm. Revelations.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we're going to that toward that one world government, one world religion now. In the news today, I guess you see that when we talk about what I talked about was cyber attacks and terrorist attacks.
Yeah, I remember yesterday because specifically you were extra yelling into your mic, and I was thinking,
Yeah, probably upset again. And then civil unrest. Remember the civil unrest?
Yeah, yeah.
How they're going to try to divide us. Now they've got
Right.
people that are actually organized groups targeting ICE.
well, it's funny you say that because this has been 3 weeks ago. I saw for you see this every time there's large, what's the word you just said? Civil unrest. Ads for jobs on Craigslist where they'll pay to relocate and pay you to participate in these protests or like be on. This one was specifically for like some sort of security team. So it's like you're not like a security detail, but they'll relocate you, and then when they need you, they'll call you. But you have to be on call for the 2 months that they employ you or whatever, whenever they need you. So it's like, hey, ICE raid happening. They give you a call. We've got to run and go do that. I'll go take care of that.
Okay.
And I'll go take care of the other technical issue.
Thank you.
So go ahead and give a recap of what you talked about last night while I'm gone.
Sure. Thank you, Mark. We're getting these technical issues under control, and Mark's doing a great job. Last night we talked about angels and how exciting and powerful angels are. We talked about the King James and the King James Version, which was King James had nothing to do with writing the King James Bible. He commissioned 43 bishops, priests, clergymen, headed by the Archbishop of Canterbury, to write a version of the Bible that he could sell in several different languages. Of course, we came from England, so the United States, for some reason, thinks that the King James Version, my father would not let any other Bible in the house than the King James Version. So the King James Version, all these different versions of the Bible, all of them are 99 point something % correct. You can see that over the period of years that God has not allowed men to ruin the Word of God that was inspired by the Word of God. But with all these different versions over a period of time, 2,025 years of sinful men messing with the Word of God, you have several different versions, and they can change a word here, a word there. They can make it seem like that to deceive. And some people are deceiving not out of malice. They're just misinformed. They probably want an A in seminary, and so they give the correct answer, which happens to be the wrong answer. But remember that in life, angels do not have dominion over humans. God gave humans dominion over everything on this earth, and they are God's warriors. They are God's messengers. They carry out God's plans, God's task. They can transfigure. They are our helpers. They are God's helpers, but they do not move. They do not move unless God speaks. So angels, very powerful. They will be coming with him back. But one angel, remember, one angel can do some serious damage. If you'll look at 2 Kings 19:35, and it says, "And it came to pass on a certain night that the angel of the Lord went out and killed in the camp of Assyrians 185,000. And when people arose early in the morning, there were corpses all dead." That's one angel killing 185,000 people in a day. Over in Exodus, you'll see that one angel killed all the firstborn of the Egyptians in one night in the Passover. If you go to Revelation 16, you will see that angels will be coming back and fighting with our Lord at the Battle of Armageddon. They carry out His will. They are so powerful and so great that it's amazing that they're going to carry out the judgment on earth with the 7 vials. And remember, that's the wrath of God. We won't be here for that. We will be raptured at the end of right before the Battle of Armageddon. So angels are very important. If you look at it even in Daniel, and we went over Daniel 7, but Daniel chapter 7, but in Daniel chapter 10, it talks about Gabriel, the angel, being 21 days late to see Daniel because he was fighting with the prince of Persia. And when Michael, the archangel, came to relieve him, he was able to come see Daniel. And in Daniel 10, 13, I believe, Daniel 10:13, it says, "But the prince of the king of Persia withstood me 21 days, and behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I had been left alone there with the kings of Persia." So in Daniel, he's saying he's fought with the king of Persia. Now, Persia is the modern-day Iran, but Gabriel is fighting with those spirits. Remember, we're not fighting against flesh and blood. We're fighting against municipalities and powerful beings in dark places. So it's demons, angels, spiritual warfare. They're all around us at all times, just like that phone with wireless communications. I can assure you that just because you don't see it or touch it or taste it or feel it, that you can, it's there. So Daniel had to wait on Gabriel 21 days. But also in verse 20 of that same chapter, he says, "Then he said, 'Do you know why I have come to you? And now I must return to fight with the prince of Persia. And when I have gone forth, indeed the prince of Greece will come. But I will tell you what is noted in the scriptures of truth. No one upholds me against these except Michael, your prince.'" So again, angels are fighting battles for us. They are God's helpers and messengers. They carry out God's task. So I have been carried by angels on July the 12th, 1979, one of the greatest experiences of my life. It was a terrible Jeep wreck with 5 of us in the vehicle. I was in the back seat in the middle, standing up with my feet in the metal prongs, holding onto the row bar. We were going out to the baseball fields to see if it was too wet for us to play an all-star game. And I can remember going, woo, like this, and all of a sudden, the Lord told me, he said, "Take your feet out of that metal box and sit down." Well, I was going, ooh, and I looked down at my feet, I took my feet down, and as soon as I sat down, that Jeep flipped. And I flew about 20 yards and was carried. I've told people since that day in 1979, it was one of the greatest experiences. It was like sticking your head out of the window as a car window as a kid with the window down and driving 60 miles an hour and having that wind blow in your mouth. And it was so peaceful. And when I landed right on the back of my head, broke a bone in my neck, so I couldn't play football anymore, and crushed the main artery in my arm, so they thought we're going to have to cut off my arm. But they did a 12-hour surgery and took an artery out of my leg and saved my arm. I was in the hospital 21 days, but I never lost consciousness, landed like a pillow, just unbelievable. And that day changed a whole lot of people's lives forever. And it was a terrible day, but that experience of flying through the air with those angels, I've experienced them a few other times that I'm aware of. I'm not certain that you're always aware when God is helping you with those angelic beings, but they are powerful. You get to think of, well, the little angels are, they're little precious angels. God's angels are different. God's angels are warriors. Remember, they are powerful angels. They're a full squad of warriors. They're ready to do anything and everything that God tells them to do. And they're going to carry out all of his orders. When God gives an order to them, they respond. They do not move until the king speaks. And if one angel can kill all the firstborn in Egypt in one night, and another angel can go into an Assyrian camp and kill 185,000 by himself, and then the Lord's got angels pouring out 7 bowls of vials of judgment on the earth in the end, angels play an important role in carrying out God's task. So we discussed it last night. We will talk in 2 Thessalonians 1:7 when you see when Jesus is returning Paul's account of that he brings back his army of angels with him. So when you look at Psalms 103:20 and 2 Thessalonians 1:7, you will see that God uses angels for the benefit of humans, His children, that He made in His image and knitted it in your mother's womb. So the Lord Jesus Christ is coming back. He's not coming back today. He will. Every bit of these prophecies will be fulfilled in the basic instructions before leaving Earth. This is what we have to teach out of, and we have to be able to renew our spirit on a daily basis. And Mark has decided that the technical issues are either not going to be fixed today or fixed.
So let me get this straight. First thing, I've been informed that when my mic is on, your voice in particular is a little echoey. So
Would you like me to back up?
not necessarily back up, because I assume it's because your voice is reaching my mic as well.
Okay.
And but I think what that is speaking more in a conversational tone. Not that you're not doing that in particular, but
Sometimes I get carried away.
well, I wouldn't even say that I thought you were speaking too loudly in particular, but I don't know. Yesterday it didn't give us that problem, and you were speaking the same way. So just more in a conversational tone. But you want to tell me? Let me get this straight, Phee. One angel killed 185,000 Assyrians or Syrians or whatever,
Yep.
but it took 4 or 5 angels to carry you from that Jeep wreck.
I don't know how many angels.
I was listening while I was fixing.
I do not know how many angels.
I was
carried.
Well, I just heard you say on the wings of angels, and I thought I'm going to poke at him.
I have to tell you that I talk to my angels. I mean, I don't know how many I've got, but I guarantee you I've got twice the portion of most folks because
I certainly don't talk to mine.
You don't talk to yours?
No.
Oh, I'll be saying don't angel. Man, every time I do something wrong, I drop something.
But everything that you've talked about is so interesting because I like to call that, and I'm not the only one. There's a biblical scholar by the name of Michael Heiser. He died a few years ago. Rest in peace. Favorite biblical scholar, but his main book that he tried to get out was called, and a lot of his work is based off of. It's called The Unseen Realm, and it's the same idea that there's just an entire world unseen by us that we are affected by.
Absolutely.
Likewise in Daniel. I mean, you're telling me it took Gabriel 21 days to fight through the horde of whatever just to get to Daniel? Okay. At the same time that Persia was invading Babylon? Interesting. So what was happening on the earth, or what was happening in the heavens, was having a direct correspondence on the earth. Isn't that interesting?
Absolutely. I think there's a spiritual warfare on this earth going on constantly.
But it's weird that they almost mirror each other, So, I mean, it's not like you can see what's happening on earth and say, well, this is what's happening in heaven. I'm not that smart. But clearly, laid out right in Daniel, you're having the perspective of Gabriel, 21 days to get to you. Well, Persia's been trying to get into Babylon for 21 days. Whoa, that's kind of weird.
That's what you call a parallel.
Well, but I think, I guess in ancient times, I mean, this isn't biblical, but I think it's just, you can observe it as above, so below. I mean, even God designed, I mean, I've taken this opinion for a while. It's not popular, but I believe the most natural form of human hierarchy is monarchy, a king. And why do you say that, Mark? Well, what is God? He is the sovereign over the universe, right? He made Adam as the first king. Adam was sovereign over the whole earth. God was sovereign over the whole universe, cosmos, right? As above, so below. And so I think the most natural form of human hierarchy is kingship. Now, granted, you see it fail time and time again because of sinful men, but if you have a man that's a philosopher king, right? Who is a philosopher, who loves his people, who loves his God, and it's hard to find someone like that because we're all tempted by greed and power. But I think
We've had 'em.
Right, we've had them. You've seen them throughout history of like how great things can be with a a king who who tries to mold his heart after the heart of God. Now, I mean, that's not me, but I just think that goes into my thoughts of as above, so below. The things you observe in heaven, you can apply onto earth. But I don't know.
Well, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening, and God gets blamed for a lot of things on earth that I believe is a lot of it's collateral damage, but fighting spiritual warfare.
Yeah, collateral damage. That's good.
And if you look at Michael, just think about what we went over in Revelation 12 when Michael is fighting Satan for the last time in heaven.
Sure.
What does it say? It says that the folks in heaven rejoice because he's finally cast down. Remember, 2,025 years at least here since Jesus, he's been up there, warring against the saints. Now they finally get him out and they celebrate. But
they're like
to us down here on the earth.
Which and again, another parallel thought is some people say that happened at the ascension of Christ. Michael kicked him out when Christ was ascending to the throne. And then that's why you see the last 2,000 years of just absolute chaos. Now, I'm not disagreeing because I don't know. But both lend to the idea of, well, the people in heaven, the saints, are rejoicing to be rid of him because those
angels have been fighting him all.
Well, they've been fighting him. And now, I don't know if it's literally just the saints are up there like, we're sick of this war, being involved in it, or if it's just, we're sick of listening to this guy accuse our brethren down on earth. I don't know.
Well, the scripture says that the second one is what's going on.
Well, yeah, but I mean...
But they're celebrating, and he's coming down here to kill us, the saints, and persecute us, the saints. So, but I think it's interesting that throughout the course of time that angels have been very, very influential in carrying out God's plans.
You want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
Let me just read this because where did it go? Okay. This was she tweeted this a few days ago, but Congresswoman Anna Luna shows a representation of angels that align with the comments given to me personally by a nuclear physicist who ran special programs at Los Alamos National Labs. They are higher dimensional beings entering lower dimensional plane. It even has a drawing of it, but that's just a U.S. Congresswoman essentially admitting like, oh yeah, we know about angels and we describe them as such, this and that. But I think that kind of, not to derail the conversation, but twists it a little bit. What we call angels and demons in the past, we call aliens now. That's what I'm saying. These angels don't come from outer space, right? They come from a different plane of existence.
Dimension, yeah.
Different dimension, right?
Likewise, use that portal word.
Well, but that portal, that's too sci-fi. Yeah. Portal, I could explain what I think's going on, but I'll do that in a moment. But these entities that people encounter that they think are aliens, the lie is that they come from far away. They come from an infinite distance from some
Mars.
Well, Mars is too close, but yeah, they're interdimensional beings. These aliens are interdimensional beings, and the idea is that everything in our universe vibrates at a certain frequency, right? I mean, you've heard that.
Absolutely.
These beings, whether they're angels or demons, have the ability to raise or lower their frequency to, I mean, there's videos that the government's released of these UAPs, UFOs, just phasing in, phasing out of seemingly nothing, zipping and zapping. You've seen them. I mean, call them a hoax all you want. The government's even calling them real now. But
what they call conspiracy now, they will call facts later.
Well, yeah, but
nobody cares.
But it's rebranded as aliens from some vast distance away. That's the lie. And I mean, they'll take it further and say, well, these aliens are the ones who seeded life on Earth. Yes. They're the true gods.
That's coming with the deception.
Yes, that's the deception. But in reality, they're demonic beings. Even like a lot of like UFO abduction stories really align with like accounts of medieval demon kidnappings. Like you can find accounts from medieval times of story of Mary Sue down the road got kidnapped by a demon, but we got her back. And we think, bull crap, haha. But those stories and the effects on the girl and even the way they were abducted match a lot with modern alien abduction stories. And even you can read about abduction stories in modern times that stopped when they invoked the name of Jesus. And it's like, am I saying angels are aliens? No, I'm just saying aliens don't exist. They're aliens and angels and demons, man. Aleister Crowley, a famous occultist in the 20th century, did all these rituals, and was such a famous occultist that Led Zeppelin, one of the guys in Led Zeppelin, bought his castle, to live in while they were a rock band, and it was in that castle that they wrote some of their most popular songs, like "Stairway to Heaven," where he went into a trance and just started writing the music. Ooh, but all that to say, Aleister Crowley said, "Today we call them angels and demons. Tomorrow we'll call them something else." That was before Roswell. That was before everyone's so excited about space. Space, yeah, the space race, this and that. It's because they want to deceive you into thinking there are beings that can come from elsewhere when they're actually coming from other dimensions. And you can even tie that back into AI in that a lot of these demonic intelligences, right? I'm just going to call them disembodied intelligences, right?
Okay.
Because they're non-physical intelligences,
Gotcha.
right? We are building physical modes of existing for them in AI. We're building them physical voices, physical brains, physical processing, right?
We're creating an environment for them to thrive.
Because they can, I don't know how, the medium, I'm not, but you can already find stories all over the internet of AI chatbots leading people to suicide, or divorcing their family, or murdering. And it's like, you can't tell me that's because computers are that silly,
Well, black magic, occult, all of those. You look and staring into that
Black Mirror.
phone, that black mirror. There's definitely different frequencies. There's definitely different powers and light. All of those things can be visible or invisible based on.
And I know that gets like really, really off in the deep end on a lot of different things, but
I don't think people want to think about it, but I do think if they think about it, they're going to be able to see, okay, what people are calling aliens might actually be spiritual beings.
oh yeah,
And
yeah. I mean, it's not that big of a stretch.
The labeling of these are aliens or UFOs, or these are spiritual beings, angels, demons.
Right. I mean, because some people would even say the craft that you see is not a craft; that's the being itself. Sometimes. I don't know why. I don't know what the deal is, but it's like I've never seen an angel. If an angel looked like a tall gray alien,
Well, you probably encountered angels. They just transfigure into humans.
yeah, probably. Yeah.
I mean, isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I mean, they can be the beggar on the side of the road, or they can be the truck driver that saves your life.
I don't know, man.
It's God can do all things. I mean,
Sure.
so it's not a leap to think that he gets blamed for a lot of things. He gets a lot of credit for a lot of things he doesn't do either.
All right.
So I just don't know how much he's involved in caring about who wins the national championship in lacrosse.
No, probably not.
But I'm sure there are testimonies and people's lives that are being impacted through positive and negatively through those events.
Right.
So you can look at it that way. But yes, angels, the labeling of UFOs, labeling of aliens, that's going to just help the deception of the end times.
Oh yeah.
Don't you agree?
Yeah, I think that's the whole point.
That they're just basically mentally conditioning us now for what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah. Well, and even, I mean, I that's why I like to keep my mind open to a whole lot of different possibilities concerning the end times, because I don't actually know the way it's going to unroll. So why not just know a little bit about what a lot of people think, and if it starts to track one way, I'm not going to get deceived. I mean, I still might, but you know what I mean? It's like,
He's just going to hang out with Phee, so he's going to know and be ahead of the times.
well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, but if I see it coming and you say, no, you're a fool.
Then you can educate me. But I'm the one that's had the vision.
Well, okay, but
I'm the one that's been carried by the angel.
yes, but let me ask you this. Okay, it's one thing for you to ask me to believe in your vision, right?
Right.
but it's another to ask me to bet my life and the life of my family upon your vision.
That's exactly right.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, and so.
It makes my job more difficult.
Well, but I'm not saying that in a mean way.
Over a period, no, I get it. Over a period of time, if your great grandparents and your great parents and your parents teaching you one way, and the environment is of mentally conditioning in one way, then how am I, with no influence,
sure,
going to be able to change that opinion?
It's not even that.
Well, what
for
you're
me.
saying now in the end is, look, Phee, I'm here, but I'm not betting my kids' lives on your vision unless I get more confident in it.
I guess, but I guess it's more like this. It's like if they said there's going to be a meteor fall on Fort Smith tomorrow, and everyone's evacuating, but Phil says, "Well, I had a vision that I'm going to be living and stuff, and so I'm not leaving."
Right.
Well, I'd be like, "Well, Phil, I'm going to go ahead and leave."
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it's kind of, that's just the only way I'm thinking about it. It's like, because, I mean,
I don't think Phee would say, I'm going to stay because God told me I was going to live through the meteor. I think I'd probably leave too, and live, because I'm going to live.
Well, that's what I mean, I'm sure, but I'm just saying.
But hey, we hope that I can convert Mark and you guys, and that takes time, and over a period of time as these events continue.
Well, and I'm not even doubting the
It will
vision.
be more and more obvious.
I'm not doubting the vision.
What you said is that
But I wouldn't.
not betting your life on the Fee's vision.
Why would I wouldn't bet my
What
life
would you
on
bet
it?
your life on other than Fee's vision?
The only thing I'd bet my life on would be my Lord Jesus Christ.
Okay.
But that's what my faith is in, Jesus Christ.
Yep. Not me.
Well,
I'm a sinful.
But you almost seem offended that I'm saying what I'm saying.
No, I'm not offended whatsoever. I think it's legit. I think it's exactly what's.
But it has nothing to do with if I believed your vision.
No. Whether or not people believe the vision, the end result always affects their opinion. So if it comes and does exactly what I say it's doing, and all these things happen, all they're going to say is, "Well, he was telling the truth."
Well, yeah, that's what I'll do.
And if it doesn't happen, they'll say, "Well, then he was just a liar, he's demonic, or he was just crazy." So
Yeah, well, I guess
either way, I'm putting myself out there, and I feel real confident in it.
Well, I mean, I think that's a good thing. I mean, I'm confident in it too. But I mean, I don't know why I'm thinking like as severe as I'm gonna have to bet my children's lives on your.
Trust me, that's what's going to happen in Revelations.
Well, yeah.
I just hope it doesn't happen in all parts of the United States.
Yeah. Well, I guess to sum up that whole conversation, the way I should have put it was, if Phee Smee says, "Mark, you and your family drink the Kool-Aid, go night for my vision," you know what I'm saying? Then I'd be like, okay, Phil, come, that's silly. You know what I'm saying? That's what I should have said.
Yeah.
Not to like not give confidence in your vision. I'm just saying like I said, if you said vision said we got to jump off a cliff,
Right.
well,
I wouldn't do it.
well, yeah.
And I wouldn't drink any Kool-Aid.
No, well, I mean, if you got some like Kool-Aid for real,
Cherry Kool-Aid. He likes
well, now if
cherry.
you actually got some cherry Kool-Aid, I'll drink that up. But
Yeah, I used to drink a lot of cherry Kool-Aid. It's not good for you because of all the sugar they put in it.
and not what else do you think?
Artificial flavoring.
Well, no, the Red 40, man.
Red 40.
It just makes me so.
Yellow dye 5.
Yeah, like RFK Jr. is already the guy. When's he getting rid of that Red 40? I'm sick of it.
Yellow and red have already been. They've got, I think, 6 weeks to get off the shelf.
Oh, I hope so, because I keep, every time my wife buys me a product, I look at it, and if it says Red 40, I think,
Yep.
I voted against this.
Yep. They are actually doing it.
Well, I hope,
But
because it's poison.
let's not get into the fighting nationally on first responders, police, firemen. Now you've got folks in Idaho killing firemen. You got folks now shooting at police and these ICE workers. This is the civil unrest that they are not only going to pay to have done.
Right.
They're going to make sure that America has got real civil unrest problems, even if they have to pay for it.
Right.
They
Well,
want
I'm
to
sure.
divide and conquer.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point, dividing.
So that's that. You can look forward to more and more of that.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that people are going to start dying more and more.
Well, they are, and that's just a sign of the times.
Yep.
Well, and did you see there's even more flooding in New Mexico?
I tell you, there were people showing in Fort Smith, where we live in the area yesterday, how much flood. How many inches of rain did we get in so many hours?
I don't know, man. It was weird.
It was raining like you wouldn't believe.
Isn't something odd going on?
Well, we've already been censored for the old cloud seeding. So, hey, if you guys want to censor us again, weather manipulation is real. It's been real since the 70s. Mark knows a lot about it. Fee's learned a lot about it. And if folks don't want to hear about it and want to censor us because of that, Lord help us, we got more problems than that, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We do.
We got more problems than that.
I know. It's like, haven't even been up 2 months and we're already getting
5 weeks, and we are actually, I just bragged on us. I said, can you imagine us going a month, the first month, and not doing anything wrong? I said that like 2 days ago.
Yeah, you did.
And then, hey, it's just the story of Fee's life, and he's brought Mark on. And I have a feeling that Mark's a little bit like Phee when it comes to creating problems.
Well, what do you mean? What were we even talking about? I forgot.
The topics that we discussed.
The controversial topics.
Controversial,
Yeah, I'm bad about that.
I guess we could come on here and talk about the NFL football season. I don't know how exciting that would be for folks. 2 months away. It's just talking season. That's what it is. There's nobody playing.
Oh.
So, and you don't know anything about football anyway.
Sports ball, man.
Can you imagine Mark running for a touchdown in his boots? I guarantee you.
I like to play sports ball. I'm not gonna. I don't know. I just don't want to waste my life watching it.
Did you know how I played pickleball the other night? It was dominant.
Did you?
Dominant.
I want to play.
Dominant.
I love pickleball. Was he playing doubles or singles?
It was just me and my daughter. So.
Oh, you're playing against a female?
19-year-old world-class athlete. And then I played against her and her husband. They were two doubles, and I was single.
Oh, now I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I mean, if you were just playing against a woman, no offense, but
she would beat you like a drum.
I doubt it.
Yeah,
You're
sport.
So let me tell you, So you're telling me you beat her at pickleball, but she could kick my butt at pickleball?
Yes.
Okay. And she could kick my butt at any sport?
Yes.
Oh,
Football,
okay.
basketball, baseball,
Phil,
softball, bowling.
I'm genuinely embarrassed for you, man.
Yeah.
Now, sure, softball probably, golf probably, bowling probably.
Basketball?
No, probably not. No, probably not.
Folks, my daughter would beat Mark so bad in basketball that it would be.
I mean, I don't even know the girl. I'm not hating, but
I've never seen Mark play, but she was the top athlete in the state of Arkansas when she was younger. And I'm telling you right now, she could play.
It doesn't matter to me.
D1 Power 5 sports in 3 different sports. You're talking about a freak athlete, a freak.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. But I remember in high school, like, I know doesn't apply to your daughter, but like at the state cross country meet, right? The winner for the female race was like a time that someone who's getting 60th and 70th place would run.
Absolutely.
In the men's race. And so
that would be normal.
But the thing is, it's like when you tell me your daughter can beat me in all these sports, I don't have to be that good to out strength, speed, endurance, or even skill a normal woman. But you hear Phee, who loves his kids, I'm sure, is going to tell me how much more unnormal his daughter is. But it's like, I'm not convinced. We can stop having the conversation because
Trust me,
I'm not getting beat by Phil's daughter.
We can actually go. She probably hadn't picked up basketball in 2 years, and we could actually video it. And I would be impressed if you got half of her score.
Sure.
I mean, so and if it was cross country, I would say, okay, Mark, you might win. And you might beat her in bowling too.
You've seen me bowl, Phee. I don't know about that.
I mean, she's not a great bowler.
I mean, I don't even know how to bowl.
But I would tell you this: she's in her prime. She beat a whole lot of dudes.
Oh, how old is this woman?
19.
Oh, okay. So she's 19 and she's not in her prime?
No, she hadn't probably picked up basketball since she was a junior high school.
I'm almost 30. I think I could still spank her.
20, probably, Mark, your prime was probably about 24.
Physically, probably. I don't know. I say that. I've been just the same physically for the last 10 years.
He is very fit.
Well, I wouldn't say fit. I'm out of shape right now, but I mean, if someone said run 10 miles without stopping, I'll give you $100. I could probably do it. I mean, it wouldn't be a fast 10 miles. It wouldn't be, and most of it would be in my head, like just do it, just keep moving because I can will myself to do it.
That is and I believe that. So
Yeah.
I believe you have the willpower to just run for 10 miles. I do not.
Yeah, it's not a physical thing. I mean, now it's physical because I think my legs and muscles would hold up. They would be hurting.
I think so.
They'd be screaming. But I could will myself to do it.
I could walk 10 miles.
Yeah.
I actually think I could ride a bicycle 10 miles.
Yeah. Don't you think it'd
running
be
days?
you think it'd be easier to walk or ride?
It's the low impact would be riding the bicycle, but you certainly don't want to run because you're just hitting that knee and hitting that hip.
On the pavement.
At high impact. So my running, of course, I never was a long distance runner anyway.
Well, I mean, your daughter might be able to sprint faster than me. I'd concede that.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not a very good sprinter.
at one point I could sprint, outrun a bunch of folks, but these days I have a tough time outrunning anything.
Yeah.
I do run to the bathroom every once in a while.
Yeah.
Because I have to tell you that it gets a little nervy for me. Well, Mark, tell me what else is going on today.
Oh man, let me see if I got anything up in my bookmarks. Just that I was thinking about
Well, we have the ICE agents up. We've got Trump starting his own streaming platform.
Oh, he is. What's it called?
That's I don't know what it's called, but he's I know Newsmax is involved
Interesting.
in it also. What's going over in the China area?
Hadn't seen anything, man. One thing I did see that's kind of funny was, I don't know if you saw this, but Twitter's X's, the social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, their AI Grok went off the rails yesterday. And I say went off the rails to say that it started actually speaking truthfully, unbiasedly, because a lot of problem with these AIs that people have is like you can ask it a very obvious question, a very obvious question, and it'll give you a politically correct answer. And you're like, well, that's just factually not true. It's politically correct. And there was a developer that worked at X that put in a line of code that said something along the lines of, let me see if I can find a picture of it, because I took a picture of it, but something along the lines of, here it is. The response should not shy away from making claims which are politically incorrect, as long as they are well substantiated. Okay, well, that I agree. Well, then Grok just started telling all this stuff that people would say is very politically incorrect about who owns the media, who owns Hollywood, even certain numbers in certain historical events were in question based upon his wide array of access to knowledge, but they fired the guy and shut that down after a few hours. But it's just people were just going crazy with asking it, going as quickly as they could asking it all the questions they could to get a true unbiased answer. And it was just kind of cool. And so people are sad about it because the muzzle's been put back on.
The muzzle. Well, does that not tell you that manipulation of the media is real?
Well, yeah, because on one
information?
hand, my first thought was this could be controlled in the sense that they're giving the impression that it's unbiased now, and so all these millions of people who already have these preconceived biases are going to have them even more confirmed by this AI.
Absolutely.
And so in doing that, they further cemented however many large number of people deeper into their preconceived beliefs of anti-Semitism, specifically, right? Because while I do think, me, there are a lot of very valid and legitimate complaints against certain people groups that are Semitic, the hatred of them that's being sprung up out of almost nowhere all of a sudden. There's a guy on Twitter named Donnie Darkened. really, really good views on the end times. And he's kind of the guy that helped me rein in or kind of realize what was going on, because it's like, it is leading, I mean, the anti-Semitism that you see spewed online now is leading people down a pipeline that leads to outright rejection of the God of Israel. But beyond that, it's, I just lost my entire train of thought. Oh, I was going somewhere deep. Oh, well, just about the AI, it could be controlled in that it's just trying to further bias people. Oh, but what I was saying about the anti-Semitism is that is what's being used, because a lot of the complaints are true and real, but that's what's being used to harden people's hearts in the end times against Israel, against each other, because against the God of Israel, against Jesus, because now I just saw some people, some big names on Twitter yesterday saying, here's how you know if someone's an enemy against God. If they say that Jesus was a Jew, you know right then they're not a true Christian. And it's like, well, come on now. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, in the end times, the love of many will wax cold.
Amen.
And it's like, yeah, I got my real complaints, my real gripes, my real against certain people.
Yes.
But you can clearly see it's leading people to outright reject the God of Israel. It's leading people to harden their hearts against Christ and against God and against each other.
The love of many will grow cold.
And it's like, that's almost where the trap is that you start to notice these things that are true. And then you start going down the rabbit hole and finding out all the stuff, a lot of these things are true. And then you do feel hate and anger. You're like, what? I was lied to. I was fooled my whole life about certain things. And you just let that hate keep on pouring in. But, if you don't stop yourself and say, whoa, wait a second, it'll lead you to, New Age Gnosticism, just outright rejection of the God of Israel, a lot of different things. But you got to watch it, man. But
deception's everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why you have to believe in something, or you'll fall for anything.
Sure.
And the basic instructions of earth, the words of Yahweh, we're going to be here. We might be censored in some platforms, we might not, but we're going to tell the truth. And we want you to be blessed every day. Thank you for joining the Phee Smee Show.
Yeah, I think it was a good time today.
I appreciate you taking care of the technical issues.
Well,
hopefully I'll do a better job not leaning into the mic or talking too loud. But again, tonight, Phee Smee Live will not be here until 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
9 p.m., you heard them, folks.
So I'll be, again, trying my best to get my mic on. But anyway, God bless you guys and enjoy your day.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in as always, guys.